13 goals in 24 appearances for Barcelona. That ain't bad. 92 goals in 163 games in all competitions for Arsenal. Can he hit the back of the net regular for the Blues?
I should think so. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a massive problem in the Chelsea side. We know how difficult it is to fill that number 9 shirt at Chelsea. There's been so many failures. We've seen it last season with Lukaku, Timo Werner. The list goes on. But what I will say about this young man is, well, not so young, but he scores goals. He's got charisma. He loves London. Obviously, that's why he's come back to London. I think he's got something to prove. The way that he was let go at Arsenal. It was just unsavoury to watch, seeing a player who'd been thought of so highly at Arsenal then be kind of almost shoved out the door. Did well, I think, just over 1-2 at Barcelona. So he's got something to prove when he comes back. Obviously, It's going to be difficult because he can't play for the next 4 or 5 weeks after, the horrific mugging that he received. And I think he got a broken jaw. So that'll take him a while to get over. But he'll be gagging at the bit, excuse the pun, to get back into it. And, if he can if he can bring something to that Chelsea side, I think it's going to be composure in front of goal. And that's exactly what they need.
So, Ray, how will Arsenal fans react to this signing?
It's a little bit like when Fabregas went to Chelsea, but he obviously gone via Barcelona. But yeah, well, they're giving some stick probably, I should imagine, like most clubs would. If you go back to one of your rivals, which Chelsea are a big rival of Arsenal. But you can't blame him. He loved the Premier League. He, as I said before, he left the club. Mikel Arteta wanted him out. He went to Barcelona. But the best thing about Barcelona have had the best deal, really, haven't they? I mean, to get a player on loan or get him for nothing and then suddenly get 12 million or whatever they're going to get for him, that's a great deal for Barcelona. But as Trevor says there, wherever he's been, he scored goals. Dortmund, 144 league games, 98 goals. 128 at Arsenal, 68 goals. And 18 appearances for Barcelona, 11 goals. The record speaks for itself. So I'm sure it'd be a great signing for Chelsea.
Trev, where do we put Chelsea this year? Aubameyang comes now. Will he fire them into can they get better than top 3, or are they going to struggle for top 3?
I think we have to look at Liverpool, because we all had Liverpool and Manchester City top 2 either way. But I think Liverpool are a little bit off it. I think the boy Milo, who's just been brought into the club from Juve, I think that will help, because I think they've missed Thiago massively. And looking at Milo's footage, he's very similar. He's almost like a short winger, but great technically. So he can find passes. He's got a little bit of pace. He can drop a shoulder, go past the midfielder. Very much like Thiago. And I think they've missed that little guile, that little nuance in the midfield to keep him ticking over. So I think that's going to be a huge signing for Jurgen Klopp. But yeah, they haven't looked their usual invincible selves. And I think clubs have looked at that. You look at the Palace game where they looked like they were under all kinds of pressure on the counter-attack, and I think clubs will look at that and look at the blueprint how to play Liverpool, and it's going to be a much more difficult season for them. So I see Chelsea, if they do get it right, because they have got the quality, if they do get it right, they could potentially get top 2.
Is he under pressure, Trev, Tuchel?
Of course he is. Chelsea.
But you spent all that money now as well. Yeah, you can't have no excuses. You say, well, we've got players in.
Absolutely.
Now we've got to kick on now. But
I think he is under pressure, because even though Todd Bowley's come in, I think Chelsea as a football club is a silverware machine, winning machine. And if they don't win something this season, I can see Tuchel being relieved.
It's a fascinating.
It's a great season.
The only thing I can say is that City look, not home and hose, but City look awesome. Who can stop them? I can't see anyone stopping them.
Well, I was there on Wednesday. I took my lads down to watch the game. Just as a fan, I was shocked at his movement, at the size of him, his pace, his strength, and he's got that sixth sense. Al, all strikers have it, where they just know where the ball's going to land.
Yeah.
And the hat trick that he scored, left foot, right foot header. I think the header, he was almost heading it above the crossbar. He's that tall and that nimble and athletic. And, we can't discount Alvarez, because I've been super impressed with him pre-season when he's been given opportunities. You look at the footage from over in the South America, he looks awesome. And his second goal he took, against, and like, not being disrespectful, but Nottingham Forest weren't even a challenge. I'm sure they have more difficult games in training between themselves. But the second goal that Alvarez scored, he had no right to score that. He's chunky, he's a little bit like Aguero. I've got a really good feeling about him that even though he only cost 17 million, he's gonna become a fan's favourite and he's gonna be a massive success.
It's amazing, isn't it? £17 million. Wow. And if he does really well, what would he be worth?
Well, at least double
serious
that.
money.
I mean,
treble.
you look at what Manchester City have done. They've sold £200 million worth of players this summer and only brought in 75 million. And they've made 125 million in the transfer market. Nobody talks about that. You look at what some of the clubs, we're talking, Chelsea have spent $250 million this season, this summer. And you look at Manchester City, they've made 125 million. The club's being run properly. It's a super club now.
Quick text, I'll tell you how Arsenal fans feel, you lot, about Auba to Chelsea. We couldn't care less. Good luck to Chelsea when they try to get him out. When he starts acting up, he's a bad egg, says Ryan.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.